And at the end of fear, oblivion.
Gotham City, lock your doors and windows, ignore the screams and scratching, and if you smell something funny, panic. It's October, and once again, the Scarecrow terrorizes the innocent. Our Halloween tradition of the spooky Scarecrow special goes strong, and this year, rather than fighting Batman, our petrifying protagonist, Jonathan Crane, is out to understand him. He wants to get inside Batman's head instead of punching it, in a tale that might shed some light on the Dark Knight detective, but may also unstrap the burlap sack of the scary straw man. We're doing Kings of Fear, a story by Scott Peterson and Kelly Jones, where these two titans of terror prowl the night together. But first we start off with another Batman villain, one who some, not me, would say is the greatest of them all. The Joker and his goons have taken hostages in a warehouse, but the funny thing is, he knows Batman is already here. Daring the Dark Knight to stop him, the Clown Prince of Crime slashes a throat, just for giggles. Let's see him laugh through a straw in the hospital, because it's the freaking Bat! Batman cleans up as usual while Joker jerks it in the corner, but this whole segment is more just an action prologue, an excuse to get Batman where he needs to be. Ah, cool, the Batmobile looks like the one from the Tim Burton movies. Where else do you take the Clown Prince of Crime after he's done performing? If God had mercy, it would be straight to the electric chair, but Gotham must not have the death penalty, which is weird because All-Star Metropolis does. Anyway, it's Arkham Asylum. You don't have to be crazy to work there, but it helps. Batman doesn't want to even listen to Joker's shit today, he just wants to get his job done and leave. He's not in the mood for chit-chat. So, unlucky for Batman, the Arkham staff want to talk shit to the Dark Knight because they think Batman encourages his enemies by beating the shit out of them. This is always dumb. These ungrateful bastards are lucky Batman doesn't leave them to handle his rogues. Tell you what though, she shuts up really quick when the alarm starts ringing, doesn't she? Joker's not the only clown in Arkham tonight. He's also not the only supervillain. 8 of Batman's most well-known and most marketable: Rush the Caped Crusader, Killer Croc, Riddler, Joker, Mr. Freeze, Poison Ivy, Two-Face. Why are Bane and Penguin in Arkham? They're Blackgate guys. And if you think that's weird, Batman turns out the lights and absolutely decimates all of them easily. The freaking Bat beats the shit out of his entire rogues A-list in seconds. Crazy how individually these would all take a full story to beat, but together it takes Batman 3 pages. Batman's just that hardcore, dude. It was too easy, but this page is cool, I'm not gonna lie. The lunatic, dangerous maniacs, some of which have superpowers, are stopped before any innocent people get hurt, but the doctors are still being bitchy to Batman. They claim all he's done is motivate them to try again next time. He's only encouraging them. But one Gotham goon needs no encouragement. The sinister Scarecrow has escaped in the confusion, and he has a hostage. Batman takes flight, rushing to the Batmobile to hunt down his boot-shaking barnyard bad guy, but as he approaches his car, I see you. Let's try some free association. What is the very first thing that pops into your head?
It would be extremely painful.
What killed the dinosaurs?
You poor guys. Always confusing me with this.
You killed Captain Clown!
How does it feel, Wayne, to stand on the very stones that ran with your parents' blood?
Batman's freaking out. Hallucinations of his worst enemies tear his mind apart, even though he kicked all their asses in real life 10 minutes ago. Ra's al Ghul's cool though. Ah, oh shit, Jim, you scared me. Now, here is the risk. How are we meant to know what's real and what's the fear gas driving us mad? In the end, it doesn't matter. What matters is that the Scarecrow's out there, the city is threatened, and going insane or not, this bat's gonna fly. Scarecrow's hostage is Kenneth Ree, a new hire at Arkham Asylum. Batman gets Alfred on the case, but the very act of delegating the investigation tips Al off that something isn't right. But as usual, the stoic Batman refuses to let anyone in. The clock's ticking as Batman reaches Ree's apartment, and Christ, I know Gotham's a shithole, but come on, his apartment is a mattress on the floor and one family photo. Bet it still costs $1,000 a month as well. And yet you still can't have shit in Gotham. There's a guy in here with a gun. He almost blows Batman's bitch ass away, but he pressed triangle just in time and countered it. Turns out, this is Kenny's landlord, and now that he's sufficiently shat himself, he tells Batman all he needs to know. Sadly, there's nothing to tell. Kenny Ree comes here to sleep, and that's it. The man's a mystery, but he's only been here a month. We need to dig deeper. We need to check out some of Kenny's previous addresses with a cheeky bit of ass kicking on the way, of course. I've got to get me a cape, dude. Look how badass it makes his poses. But uh-oh, it's getting trippy. Gotham's twisting and turning as that fear toxin seeps into Batman's brain once again. And who can you trust when you can't trust your own mind? Certainly not the Scarecrow. Is the fearsome foe actually here? Or is this the toxin talking? Hard to tell as he picks at Batman's brain. But as long as Crane's got a hostage, the Bat has no choice but to listen. Holy shit, look at this cool page. This book's actually a treasure trove of badass posters. The Dark Knight still patrols the streets, but he no longer haunts Gotham alone. The sinister Scarecrow stalks his prey. Oh, hang on, he's fell off the building. Even after all he's done, Batman still saves him. Well, Batman tripped him in the first place, so maybe this is just to put the fear in the Scarecrow. And as funny as that is, the true twist is that this scary scoundrel isn't here to hurt Batman. He's here to help him. Scarecrow wants to give Batman intense therapy to cure his costume complex. If the Dark Knight detective wants the hostage safe, he's gonna have to play Scarecrow's spooky mind games and let the villain follow him round on patrol. All the while, the psychiatrist is gonna try and get to the bottom of the Batman. But it turns out a night in Robin's shoes isn't as exciting as Johnny Boy would have wanted it to be. They can't all be Arkham City level adventures. Tonight, Batman's more watchful protector than Dark Knight.
What? This is stupid. Is this really what you do? Wait, where are you going? You can't just leave me here. Then follow. That's not... Hey, hold on. The hostage. Hey. Damn it! You have got to stop doing that sort of thing. You really spend your nights this way, watching over nobodies. I just assumed. I mean, Joker, Freeze, Croc, me. That's who you... And yet, you do this. You do this. You're a pro bono bodyguard. No, you're a babysitter. A secret gratis babysitter. It's all so inconsequential. All right, this is getting us nowhere. I've seen enough. Let's move to the next stage. More radical therapy is clearly required. Where's that car of yours? Well, that was fast. And legitimately cool. No matter what he says, this is all going right according to Scarecrow's plan. He's slowly getting straw all over Batman's psyche. It won't be long now before— Watch out! Phew! Scarecrow's dream date is interrupted by a little girl who might not even be real. She's certainly asking some hard questions for a kid and making Batman consider if he's any different from the punks he punches. Did that even happen? Or was it all just Batman's fear of perpetuating crime in Gotham manifesting in his poisoned brain? Finally, Scarecrow leads Batman to the hostage. Kenny's not looking too worse for wear after a night in Dr. Crane's care. But before Batman can go back on the agreement with Scarecrow, another blast of fear toxin crumbles the Caped Crusader. Scarecrow's been slyly poisoning him all night, and it's time for Batman to either have a breakthrough or to simply break. The first rule of war is to know your enemy. Crane picks the mind of his mortal nemesis to try and find something he can use against the hero.
and even Batman's mental defenses crumble under the onslaught of the Scarecrow. The villain is finally starting to peel back the layers of Batman's mind when the hero admits he does what he does so no other kid will have to lose everything because of some punk with a gun. The Crow is flying dangerously close to the truth here, isn't he? And then, the true fear hits when Batman admits no matter how hard he tries, he'll never be able to rescue everybody, and thus, hopelessness sets in. The Scarecrow reinforces Batman's nightmare. Of course Batman can never save everybody. Or could he? Crane hints that it's not Batman's goal tripping him up, just his methods. The hero struggles to break free of this nightmare, but nothing Scarecrow's toxin could produce could compare to the true, deepest fear of the Batman. The secret shame that he can't even admit to himself. Dr. Crane pushes him beyond the event horizon, into the truth that Gotham would be better off had the Batman never existed. The Gotham that would have thrived had the man behind the mask taken his fortune, his willpower, and his mindset and pulled the city from the brink in more legitimate ways than violence. Usually a criminal comes along talking all that shit, flood Gotham this, kill the mayor that, and Batman glides in to kick some ass. But is that really helping? The Scarecrow says hell no. All Batman's heroics do is tell the criminals try harder next time. He's only pushing them to up their game. Meanwhile, a Gotham that's been cleaned up the right way wouldn't be a breeding ground for monsters like Croc, Joker, or Killer Moth. The Batman has trapped Gotham in a loop of violence that he just encourages to get deadlier and deadlier. Batman's cornered the market on punching bad guys in Gotham to the point where he is the lone knight standing against the chaos, while Scarecrow's hypothetical Gotham has citizens who can stand up for themselves. In his crusade to save the people of Gotham, all Batman has done is turn them into victims. Let's have a look at a Gotham without the Batman's escalation. Bane, perhaps the biggest threat to the people, would never have found the motivation to escape Santa Prisca prison, sparing the city of Nightfall, but we'd have never seen that sick Jean Paul Batman costume. Victor Fries and Pamela Isley use their powers and knowledge to be pioneers in their fields, enhancing human society, but notably, it doesn't mention Freeze's fit wife. Two-Face and Catwoman, the rogues closest to Batman's heart, survive their personal struggles and come out the other end ready to make the world a better place, all thanks to the lack of Batman's interference. Even the bastard Joker, the clown prince of crime, the one villain I can see this school of thought actually being relevant to, uses his uncanny mind to track serial killers and profile criminals. Truly, Gotham would be better off without a bat in its belfry. Just imagine if you'd chosen a different path. What if you'd taken all your amazing intellect, your unstoppable drive, and your fabulous riches, and you dedicated your life to becoming the greatest philanthropist the world had ever known? What could you have done to change Gotham then? You could have fully funded prenatal care for the expectant mothers, so the health of the average Gotham newborn would have been the envy of the developed world. Universal pre-K, free college for Gotham residents. Imagine the kind of schools Gotham could have had, with high school science classes that Ivy League schools would covet. What technological advances might Gotham have made in just a few decades? With an education system like that, the dropout rate would be virtually nil. And think of the economic boom that would have accompanied it. With good jobs around every corner for a healthy, educated populace, the crime rate would have plummeted. You could have done all this if you'd wanted. You had that option. Instead, you decided to play dress-up and punch muggers. The world's greatest detective
could never see that the real culprit was himself all along. He's been treating the symptoms and not the cause. Every scheme he's stopped has only encouraged his enemies to go harder and harder. Gotham City is a shithole, and it's all his fault. Struggle all he likes, Batman knows that it's true. Scarecrow dances around clumsy punches as the day's dark night lashes out, too drowsy from the toxins to cause any real damage. Scarecrow must have finally drove this guy crazy because Batman draws 2 syringes full of chemicals and jabs himself with a double dose of, I assume, adrenaline? Something to burn the fear formula from his body. And now, after having his mind, his hopes, his fears raked over by the Scarecrow, Batman is pissed. His psyche starts slowly piecing itself back together as he quickly rips Scarecrow to shreds. Batman demands to know why Scarecrow did all this, but his answer is no mystery to the detective. The Scarecrow is a supervillain. He's an asshole. He loves to torture and attack and just be a general dick. But then, Crane realizes his true goal was achieved through all this struggling. The Batman really did see his inner truth. The Scarecrow has finally managed to push the hero over the edge of sanity, but Batman doesn't share his epiphany with the strawman supervillain. One good kapow, and the fearful felon goes down. Commissioner Gordon, where the hell have you been for the last 2 hours? He busts in and Jonathan Crane is arrested, but although the hostage is freed, Jim can sense something off about his pointy-eared partner. The fear toxin has shined light on truths that Batman would have rather remained in shadow. Scarecrow's got Batman questioning his role in Gotham, but Commissioner Gordon never has and never will. Jim tells Batman that even though the peace is fragile, he'd never have been able to get the city as good as it is now without the Caped Crusader. But Batman remains unconvinced. Even as we return to Arkham and lock the Scarecrow away for another year, the damage is already done. Batman no longer believes in himself. He hasn't been protecting the people of Gotham. His existence just makes their city infinitely more dangerous. Maybe it's time he hung up the cowl forever. But then, on his way out of Arkham, Batman bumps into another doctor, one that's actually not a dick to him. She thanks Batman for saving her life not just tonight, but a few years ago. But she's going to have to do better than that to cheer Batman up now. So how about this? She says, only the costumed crazies return to crime. Most of the superstitious cowardly lot the Batman batters are frightened into going straight. For example, this doctor's husband, Scalpel Sanchez. And today, thanks to Batman scaring the shit out of the once thug, they've got a little baby girl and everything. So that's this doctor and Jim Gordon who benefit from the Batman. But is that enough to cheer Bruce up a bit? I don't know. Finally, after a long hard night, Batman returns to his cave devastated. What little good he might have done for the people pales in comparison to the darkness he's brought to Gotham. But of course there is one man who Bruce Wayne always brings light to. Alfred Pennyworth is no big fan of the Batman. He hates how the boy that he raised spends his nights risking life and limb for an ungrateful city. And if Bruce ever did pack it all in, Alfred would die happy. But even Alfred can't deny all the good that Batman's done for Gotham. All the suffering Bruce and Al go through absolutely means something to the people. And though he dreams of a life without Batman, Alfred knows how important his master's work is. So nice try, Scarecrow, but once again, the Batman is the king of his own fear. Dude, any old supervillain can dream of killing Batman, that's for chumps. But breaking Batman's mind so much that he almost quits his crusade, that is pure Scarecrow. This story was basically the movie It's a Wonderful Life, but with Batman instead. I've often seen people claim Batman creates his own villains, but I think that's bullshit.
Let's be honest, in a world without Batman, Gotham would have been obliterated a dozen times over by now. No way would Ra's al Ghul let this hellhole fester, he'd have rinsed it years back. Tell you what, this series had so many cool shots of Batman just being Batman, and the always changing colours reflecting off of his batsuit reminded me of the psychedelic art from The Killing Joke. I enjoyed how this story portrayed Scarecrow as an actual psychiatrist. He spent the whole time really analysing Batman. It wasn't a con to get close enough to stab him or nothing, he genuinely did try and understand his need to wear the cape. It used Crane as more than just a guy with fear gas, he almost talked Batman into surrender. He dug deep into Batman's mind and he played on his fears with only calm words. And it shows Scarecrow is a genuine lad as well, cause just like you and me, he thinks the Batmobile is badass. Better luck next year, Johnny boy.